I have a 2006 Honda Odyssey today, and what happens is that I leak all the transmission fluid. It started to slip already, they say. Adding some transmission fluid here because the transmission is kind of low on fluid since it's been leaking. Alright, the transmission fluid level is good now. By the way, they say it only leaks transmission fluid when the van is being driven. By the way, this is a 17mm plug, and this is the washer here, don't forget to put it. Alright, under the van here, the engine is running at this moment, and I can see a lot of transmission fluid under the transmission here. The owner of the vehicle says he replaced the axle about 3 months ago, and since then the transmission has been leaking transmission fluid, and then he went ahead and took out the axle again, and then he replaced the axle seal, thinking that that was the problem, and the transmission still keeps leaking transmission fluid from the axle. Now I saw the videos in his phone, and definitely he's absolutely right, the transmission is leaking transmission fluid from the axle. Now the transmission is not leaking any fluid right now, so this basically happens when the van is being driven. And also the owner of the vehicle sprayed very good, he cleaned all the areas, so nothing is being seen right now by the axle right there. But I have the feeling here that this van has the wrong axle. I don't think that this is the right one because there is a space, too much space between the transmission and the axle. I hope I'm not wrong, but I believe we have the wrong axle here on this van. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and see what happens. As you can see, that's where the oil is coming from the bottom part of the seal right there. So I'm gonna see if it's something wrong with the seal right there, or it's the axle. I believe it's the axle. We're gonna see that. This is the area where I'm talking about, between the axle and transmission. There is too much space, the space is too big between both of them. That's why I believe that this is the wrong axle for this van. Alright, we have two CB axles here, the old one and the new one, and this is the old one here, and the old one is much longer than the new one here, so there is a big difference between both of them. See the big difference here, see the big space, so the new one is much shorter than the old one. The old one is much longer, maybe that's why it doesn't make it all the way inside the transmission, and that's why it stays out, and that's why the axle cannot close the space between the axle and transmission. Alright, let's install the new axle right now. Alright, that's the new axle right there, and this one has no space between the transmission and the axle here. No space like the old one. We're gonna drive the vehicle now and see what happens. So I went to drive the vehicle already, so now I'm gonna take out the tire again and see if it's leaking. A day here, we drove the van for about an hour and the transmission fluid leak is gone. I fixed the problem by replacing the wrong axle with the new one, and all the area is cleaned around the axle, so the transmission fluid leak is gone. And I know that's how it looked like before when I came here, but that was because the owner of the vehicle had a spray and cleaned all the area right there. Now sometimes you can get the wrong parts, but they still can fit, and it's very hard to see the difference sometimes. You can tell the difference when the components start to giving a problem already. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.